Oh my God, what the hell is this? He's gonna try it! And will this be enough? My God, ready to take it! 1, 2,
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Ruckus Wrestling. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. Yes, it's just me, Justin, here over on this side. Usually Josh is running the ship, but Josh is with family here on the 4th of July, so I'm here. But a friend of ours was gracious enough to lend his time to take Josh's place here to talk wrestling with us tonight. Our good friend Bobby Melendez of the Finstock Sports Network is here to join us. Bobby, really appreciate you being here on the holiday and everything, for giving you some time to talk wrestling. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Justin, man. I'm excited to be on with you. I love what you guys do, and I always appreciate you for always tuning in to my wrestling podcast. So it's gracious to kind of return the favor by being here and talking wrestling with you. I got to say that intro is epic. I love it.
Yeah.
I got to get with you or the producer to see if who could help me do that for No Holds Barred, because that was really cool.
Yeah, that's a shout out to one of our friend and producer,
man. Great job.
Put that together. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is epic, man. But yeah, dude, I'm excited. Happy 4th of July to you.
Yep.
Yeah. Family, the kids are out there. I told them I won't be too, it'll be a little bit, but it won't be too long. I'll be out there in a minute. We'll go watch some fireworks. But right now, I'm ready to talk some wrestling with you, man. Let's go.
Let's go. Yep. All right. So just a couple of quick news items before we get to the Forbidden Door pay-per-view and what's been happening on the weekly shows. First big thing, of course, is everyone's talking about that Ricochet is now officially a free agent. His contract looks like it has finally expired as of July 1st. Per Frightful, his profile has been moved to the alumni section, so that pretty much shows that he's leaving WWE for sure. And word was that his agent was backstage at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So the speculation is that it's probably only a matter of time, probably before he signs with AEW. So how are you feeling about overall Ricochet, what he's doing, leaving WWE and possibly maybe going to AEW?
Well, I'm wondering. I mean, obviously, somebody will say, because I wonder why he's going to leave WWE to go AEW. Is it more money? Because I mean, if it's I deserve a bigger spot than what I have, then I don't think that AEW is the right place. I think he gets lost in the shuffle there, compared to what he may have done in WWE. And obviously, he wasn't used as I'm sure he would have liked in WWE. But we've seen plenty of guys go to AEW, and you think they're going to have a bigger draw or be a bigger name than what they do, and they get lost in a very large roster, of talent. And so, I mean, if it's about the money, I guess it makes sense. If it's about a dream match with a couple people that he'd love to, put on tape okay, that makes a lot of sense. Of course, you got Ospreay, you got a lot of guys that Ricochet probably have some epic, Circus Soleil type matches. If it's about climbing up the ladder and getting the airtime that he thinks he may deserve, I don't think AEW is the place for him. I think maybe a TNA or something like that, where he could kind of stand out a little more, and that would have been the case. But hey, all power to him. He's an awesome competitor. I think he's grown so much since he first arrived on WWE TV. I mean, that last, man, he made you wanting more with that last appearance he had on WWE TV with Braun Breaker. But he really gave Braun Breaker a huge stepping stone to be better than, he was already great. He was already getting there. But I mean, he made him believable until dude, this is a monster. So he went out high on top, even though he didn't really have a match. He went out on top. So now he can, we'll see what happens, but all support to him.
Yeah. I felt the same way. It's like, I understand why you won't want to go to AEW just for who he can wrestle, especially Ospreay. I mean, just thinking about the matches you could have with Ospreay and Swerve and Danielson, MJF. It's like there's a lot of juicy possibilities there. but yeah, it's like with the roster the way it is, and sometimes Tony's inconsistent booking, it's definitely a concern that is he going to get a decent shot, or is he just going to basically he's going to be that big splash, and then he's going to end up in the mid card pool, like some other people have, unfortunately. It's like I also thought TNA would be a good destination for him, but it's like I think he'd have more chance to go higher up the ladder there than maybe AEW, but it's like sometimes money talks, as they say. So, so where it is will be very interesting to see what he's going to do. The other interesting news, though, was coming out of Forbidden Door was that Pfeiffer also said that Will Ospreay was the one who pushed for him having the title match against Swerve and actually putting Swerve over because he wanted to dissuade all this talk that Swerve is basically like a placeholder champion until Ospreay takes the title from him. That's why everyone assumed that they were going to clash at All In Wembley, and then of course Ospreay would win the world title in his home country, in his backyard, essentially. So I find this very interesting, and it's like I give props to Ospreay for wanting to help put Swerve over and kind of like legitimize him so that people don't feel like he's just like a placeholder, champion. That it's like, and I felt that because what happened with the pay-per-view, that it was the right decision. Because if he had his title reign been cut short, that would not have been a good look for AEW or for Swerve. It would have really hurt him. I mean, it's like he's only had the title for barely like 2 months. It's like, so. Although I find it interesting that they weren't thinking, it's like that he had to kind of like maybe sounds like he pushed for it, and that at least Tony Khan was smart enough to agree to it. But a lot of respect for Ospreay for willing to help put people over. It's like I always have respect for those kind of guys in the business who are willing to do that. It's like that. It's like it's like he understands that eventually he's going to get the title and stuff, but it's obviously he wants to make sure that Swerve gets a legitimate title reign and gets to look good while he's got the title. So props to him for that. And then I mean, well, it's like how do you? It's like what do you when you heard about that? Does like what do you think about that? As like as far as like Ospreay willing to do that and also pushing for it as well, and then it made it kind of basically made it happen.
Well, the first thing would be in regards of everyone expecting Swerve to drop the title. People saying that Swerve is the placeholder for Ospreay after he signed. Everyone expected Ospreay to win right away. For them to go the opposite direction and allow Swerve to hold the title, making him look more legitimate, making his reign look more legitimate, making him look really good coming out of it. It was great. I think wrestling should be like that in general. I think when you expect something to happen, I think they should totally turn around and do something totally different. I can't stand when people are like, oh, this is going to happen. And we all know what's about to happen. And then it happens. It's like, I would love, no pun intended, for there to be a Swerve where it's like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. How did this guy get out of here? Money in the Bank. We all, you expect Cody Rhodes, no, not Cody Rhodes. Maybe you expect, oh my goodness, I'm having a Seth Rollins to beat Damian Priest or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Seth Rollins regain his world championship, him and Gunther going into SummerSlam, but then all of a sudden Damian Priest retains again, when we thought Drew was going to beat Damian, of course, and then they had the CM Punk. I love things like that. It makes wrestling fun again. So that was great. On the other hand, though, it sounds really nice. It looks really nice, and it makes for a good story. Ospreay says, I told him no, let him have it. I could get another day. I want to make his title. It would have been nicer if you just would have kept it under wraps. You didn't have to throw it out there. Because then I think it delegitimizes. I'm probably butchering that word. His reign now, because it's like, okay, so you're saying that if you would have just took it, then now it's basically a petty championship. You just say, if you would have stayed quiet, somebody could have said that later. It rubbed me the wrong way that he announced that.
I was kind of surprised that this came out, but I guess I can understand why. I guess felt that it to show that what a guy Ospreay is, and I do appreciate that. But it does hurt it a little bit. But either way, I'm glad that they made the right choice here.
For sure.
Vendor having Swerve retain, it was the right call. It would have been an absolute disaster if Ospreay took the title from him that quickly. It would have been it's like terrible decision if Tony had gone for that. Thankfully, he didn't. And the last bit of news, this broke out today. Apparently, during our Facebook Live that he did, WWE superstar Angel Garza, he was also one of the people whose contracts are coming up in the near future. There's a lot of wrestlers on both sides of WWE and AEW apparently are. He announced that he has resigned. He resigned to he says it's a 3-year deal, and so he said he's very happy with what's going on, and he said that they made him an offer that was very, very, very good in his mind that he could not refuse. So sounds like Triple H and them ponied up the money to gave him a really good deal to keep him around. And he said that he's happy. Like some people may think, it's like he's, especially with what's going on in SmackDown with, Legato, they don't seem to be going anywhere. But he said that he's perfectly happy with where what he's doing. He's happy to stay there. So, more power to him.
100%. Obviously the money had to be good. Again, you can't knock him for if he did decide to leave, because again, there, some guys just want to have greener pastures. They just want to have a bigger opportunity to show that they could be something bigger than what they are in WWE. But I forgot who had said this. It's somebody who resigned with WWE, but that they said, "Oh my goodness, Chad Gable." I believe it was Chad Gable.
Yeah.
Basically saying that something where Triple H has something for everybody. There's a plan for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has and you look at people like Chad Gable. He doesn't have the belt, but he's one of the top guys in WWE right now. He's one of the top guys with the most TV time. You look at Jey Uso, what he was already one of the best tag team wrestlers in the world in professional wrestling. Now he's one of the best single guys in professional wrestling. Who says Angel Garza can't be that? And who maybe is there something that they said, hey, you know what? We don't have anything right here. This is where it is, but this is where we're going with this. And Angel Garza said, damn, you know what? I see a program coming. Maybe it's not a world title. Maybe it's not an Intercontinental or US title, but it's something that's going to put him out in the forefront that he said, I'm excited to re-sign a few more years. And again, money talks. They could have said, hey, man, we don't want to lose you. We want to keep you. We want to keep you in this group. Let's bump this up a little bit. And Garza might say, hey, you know what? I'm good with that. I need the money. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like not everyone has I want to be the world champion kind of aspirations. It's like some people just love being in the business and doing what they do. It's like, and if they get the opportunity to be a champion, it's even better. So, yeah, I mean, like Chad Gable's a perfect example, like you said. Like right now, he's involved in one of the most over angles going on WWE right now, with him in the Alpha Academy, all that drama, and now the Wyatt Six
he's in two storylines that are kind of like, absolutely.
And it's like in the Wyatt Six it's like it's very clear that he's their numero uno target. So he's got all kinds of problems going on right now, and it's really interesting stuff. And he doesn't even have the title. Although I know a lot of people, including myself, would love to see him win the Intercontinental title. It's like and it could happen in the near future, depending on how things shake out. But that's a great example. I think that's one of the reasons why some people are resigning. I think Becky is also one who's eventually going to resign. I think maybe she just wanted to take a break and spend time with her daughter and chill out for a little bit and then come back, because it's like I know people were like, well, if Tony Khan offers some money, it's like I don't think it's about the money. It's like
she had
stuff still there, and having re-signed, it's like it's only a matter of time before she'll go back. It's like
she stated that WWE's a family. When they mentioned to her anything about going anywhere else, she said, no, wherever I'm going to be, it's WWE. Look, what's great about not signing a contract right now, obviously whatever contract she's going to sign, it's going to be huge. Yeah, it's WWE, but they're going to give her a lot of money. And when she does, but right now she's free, right? She is free to do whatever she wants. But right now, this is the opportunity. She doesn't have to make any TV appearances. She doesn't have to show up. She doesn't have to do anything. She is free to be home, travel the world, do anything with your daughter. Seth right now is having all the time in the world. He's doing it. He's gonna have a world title match. But yeah, no, when it's time, she'll be back in WWE. I'd be shocked if she made her way to AEW.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, totally. All right. Well, that's all the major news stuff. So let's move over to the pay-per-view that happened this weekend, AEW Forbidden Door. Let me run down the results here real quick and go over my thoughts on this stuff here. So going to skip the pre-show. There was a bunch of matches in the pre-show, not really that important. It's just to save time. So let's see. So MGF defeated Hichirio. I always butcher his name, so pardon me.
Dude, I'm right with you. I'll butcher all their names, so it's all good.
So yeah, he defeated him in the opening match. Then we had the Elite defeat the Acclaimed and Hiroshi Tanahashi in a 6-man tag match. Bryan Danielson defeated Shingo Takagi in Owen Hart Cup tournament match. Timeless Tony Storm defeated Mina Shirakawa to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Orange Cassidy. Smojo Hook and Katsuri Shibata defeated the Learning Tree, Jericho Big Bill, and their hired gun Jeff Cobb from New Japan. Then we had the 6-man ladder match to crown new TNT champion because of Adam Copeland breaking his leg at the last pay-per-view and having to vacate the title. Jack Perry ended up coming out victorious, winning the title over Mark Briscoe, Takeshita, Leo Rush, Dante Martin, and El Fantasmo. Mercedes Moné defeated Stephanie Vaquer to not only keep her TBS championship, but she also won the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. So now she's double belted in 2 different companies as a women's champion. Tetsuya Naito defeated Jon Moxley to regain the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship and New Japan's Heavyweight Championship title. And then the main event, as we discussed earlier, Swerve Strickland defeated Will Ospreay to retain the AEW World Championship. Now, overall, I wasn't expecting much from this pay-per-view because, honestly, the only match I was really hyped for was Ospreay and Swerve in the main event. And, of course, that match fucking delivered. It was a 5-star match. It was absolutely amazing. It was everything I was hoping for and more. I even loved a little bit with it's like it wasn't exactly like interference because I was thinking Catalyst was going to do something. But and he did try to do something, but he was trying to help to convince Ospreay to cheat to win, but he decided not to do it. And that, of course, ended up costing him the match, which I thought was a nice little touch. There were some really good matches on the show. The highlights for me, besides the main event, were the ladder match was a lot of fun. There were some really crazy spots and some good stuff in there. Danielson's match with who was it? Takagi was really good. Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa had a really good match. But the one that really impressed me was Stephanie Vaquer. I had never seen her before. Wow, she really impressed me. She's really damn good. She probably Tony. I would not be surprised if Tony tries to open up the checkbook to sign her, come to AEW in the future because she's really good. It's like I thought she. There was a couple of points where it looked like she was outshining Mercedes, which is I
saw clips of that match and it came off strong, dude. She looked really good. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
I was surprised. Man, they butchered her last night. Mercedes Moné, the crowd. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to talk about that.
It's all right. I just remember that. But no, Stephanie looked really good. The short amount of time I saw her. I did not watch Forbidden Door. Full disclosure for those who are, if you don't know me by now, I'm more of a WWE guy. I'm starting to watch AEW stuff because I do No Holds Barred. Josh Kimmel, my co-host, watches AEW. He started from the beginning. But no, seeing what I saw from her, she New Japan. Where's she from?
She works New Japan and CMML. So she's
okay.
Yeah.
So that's rad. No, she did a great job on national on a national stage in front of America. I don't know what their numbers were. But for her to go out and go against one of the best in-ring competitors and do what she did, again, you don't need the title at that point. You put yourself on the map right now that people like Justin is saying, man, Tony Khan needs to take out that checkbook, bring you in. I mean, that's how we felt about WWE, Jordynne Grace. She looked really good, and she carries herself like a champion.
That match between her and Roxanne at Battleground was fantastic. I loved it. It's like I have no doubt that Triple H, HBK are going to try to lure Jordynne Grace to WWE when her TNA contract comes up.
For sure.
Because she got, even though she lost, she got to look like a star. It's like she looked really damn good. It's like, she's fantastic. It's like, some of their matches were fine. The one of the match that I was kind of like, that that really bored me was sadly the Naito Moxley match. It's like, it just didn't work for me. It's like it wasn't like a terrible match, but it was just like it wasn't feeling. It was kind of boring almost. As like
it's funny that you say that. Again, what I did was I watched basically a playback very quick. It was 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Short pace, to be able to follow up on the matches and kind of see everything. And, a lot of the other matches, you could hear the crowd. They're alive. They're screaming every move. And then you hear that smack. Every time they did a move, you heard a pop, knee to the face, kick in the face, whatever. You had the tag match with the, with the Young Bucks, et cetera, et cetera. All that, and the crowd was into it. But when it went to Moxley versus the and I'm forgetting his name now,
Naito,
who for the IGWP Championship, the crowd was dead. I mean, Moxley did the same thing. He ran up, did a high knee, hit the face. There was no sound. There was no crowd. And he did the double arm DDT. No pop, nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, the fans were not.
It's funny that you say that. You watched that show, and you at home felt that. Me watching just 50 minutes of a quick pit, so I could kind of just see everything, get a feel for it. That caught me right away, and man, it's like it kind of tells you, at least for me. And again, you're a better expert with AEW than I am in regards of what it does. To me, it's like it tells you that crowd, the AEW crowd, is more into the high spots, hard hitting. You got to make that sound more than the slow pace. And then, old school type of guy like Moxley, he's obviously hardcore, but old school type like Moxley. So, man, it's just funny that you bring that up because I just noticed that a little while ago, earlier today when I was following up on that show, just to refresh my memory for tonight's show. So, very interesting.
Yeah. I think I don't think they were invested because most of this feud has been over on New Japan television. It's like you only got like a little bit of it on AEW before the built this pay-per-view. So it's like I can see why some people weren't into the match because it's like, it's kind of like this was more of a New Japan thing than AEW thing. So I think whereas like at least with like Mercedes and Vancouver, they spent a lot of time with hype packages and then jaw jacking back and forth that kind of really build that up. So that that definitely worked. And and Zack Sabre Jr. has wrestled enough times that the fans know who he is. Even though he's primarily in New Japan, he's done a lot of stuff on AEW, and the stuff with Orange Cassidy was just a follow up from last year. But I think that was an exception. I was happy that a lot of the results. I'm loving time with Tony Storm. She's fantastic. That Mina Shirakawa is really damn good too. She really impressed me as well. She's a damn good wrestler, and it's like her character work and her personality. That whole feud with her and Tony was built up really well. I really like that. Jack Perry winning the ladder match. I expect that. It's like it was a foregone conclusion. Like they want to have the elite have as much gold as possible at this point. The whole they're very NWO-esque kind of storyline going on here. They're trying to control the company and all that. So that wasn't a surprise. But yeah, other than that, it was a good show, pretty good show. Wouldn't say it's like the best AEW pay-per-view ever, but it was definitely entertaining. And the main event definitely delivered. So it's like that's the one that I recommend. That the Vancouver versus Mercedes and probably the ladder match are definitely ones worth checking out if you haven't already. All right, so let's move over to WWE.
Let me ask you, Justin. I want to ask you this very quick.
Sure.
Apologize. I'm going to go sidetrack here because I know you were watching No Holds Barred, and I know you've been acting in the commenting about the WCW.
Yes,
who killed WCW. I want to get you. I know you don't have to go off on it or nothing. I mean, you can if you want to. This is your platform, but I would love to get your thoughts on that show and who you think killed WCW.
Overall, I thought they did a good job. It was a lot of stuff that I was already known about because I've read about this stuff a lot over the years because I grew up during that era. It's like, and I watched the WCW go down the toilet. I mean, it's like, I don't know how I kept watching through like 99 into 2000. It's like I watched till the very end. It was like it was rough. I thought they did a good job. I think it was good for people who are younger, who didn't grow up watching that whole thing happen, the Monday Night Wars and the Attitude Era, to kind of get a perspective on it. It's definitely kind of like it was like for like me and you, for someone like me and you who like grew up watching that stuff, who was there when it happened.
Yeah.
It was definitely, most of it was stuff I already knew. There was a couple interesting little revelations. I will tell one thing though. It's like I've never been big on Russo, but man, the second episode, man, it's like he came off as spouting so much BS, and then other people are contradicting what he's saying, and he doesn't, of course, take any kind of responsibility for the some of the choices he made that obviously were not good ideas, and it's like trying to not accept any kind of blame or responsibility. He definitely had some contribution. As far as like who killed WCW, that's hard to say. This definitely showed that it was a combination of factors. It's like booking mistakes, Hogan's creative control. It's like the finger poke of doom was big, but then it's like that was just like one domino along the way. The David Arquette title reign was another massive mistake that really turned people off. I remember on the early internet days, reading people they were super pissed off about that whole thing. It's like they were right when they said it literally caused people to just be like, nope, done, goodbye. It's like it was
you killed your title. You made your title worth nothing at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole booking was just atrocious. And then it's the other things they couldn't control, like injuries. What happened to Brett, and then Goldberg. They cutting his arm when he punched through the windows of a limo, so he was out for a while. But it was one thing I did like was showing that the pressure that Bischoff was under from the people up top, and it's like it's like the people there, obviously outside of Ted Turner, did not want to have this company under. They did not want to be in the wrestling business, and so once that finally I think was definitely the final nail in the coffin was definitely the AOL Time Warner merger, because once Ted Turner, who was their only advocate, was moved out of the way, it's like no, it's like its days was numbered, because now that he couldn't advocate for WCW, it was only a matter of time before they found a way to get to either shut the company down or just sell it off. It's like it's a very sad story. It's like, so it was definitely a lot of factors involved. I don't think it's just like one person is responsible or one thing is responsible. It was basically a series of events, and that all contributed to its eventual downfall, which is people also wonder, could it have been prevented? Once maybe they could have maybe had good television, but once the AOL Time Warner merger happened, it was only a matter of time, and that's made very clear over the years. That it's like,
I think you're right on the money with all the factors that played into it that kind of led to like the nails in the coffin. I would say though, legitimately, after watching that, especially because we knew the story, we knew all the crap, and whether it's from Hogan's creative control to Russo to Bischoff to the contracts in general, which killed the finances of it more than, and that's obviously what Time Warner did and AOL eventually to the finances, and then their decision making. We knew all that, but what we never saw, I don't think, unless of course you read books, which I did with some books there. I'm sure you had as well. Oh, yeah. About because it's such a nostalgic thing, and it's something that it's like, damn, dude, WCW. To me, the WCW World Heavyweight Championship event, which was the NWA title, that is the greatest world title in wrestling to me.
The classic big gold belt.
Yeah, it's the greatest world heavyweight title in the world in wrestling. I love that belt, and I have that belt in my house, and somewhere in my house here. But no, legitimately, and like you said, David Arquette, that killed it. That not killed it because but it's like it made it not worth it more. It's kind of like, damn. I think Triple H, and when they put it on Raw, it kind of revived it, made it feel big again.
Yeah, when they used it as the world title when they did
that. For sure. I will say this, and thank you for answering. And I seen this earlier, and I told Josh a couple weeks back that I had a suspicion because we were wondering, Rock was being involved, talking about it. He was the executive producer. We know Rock is heavily involved now in WWE. He's a TKO board member.
Yeah.
TKO. Obviously, he's going to be involved with Cody eventually. However, man, really, why was he in this documentary? What does he have in on WCW? He'd never been to WCW. He was not a WCW guy.
He was on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could understand Steve Austin talking because Austin was on both sides, any of those guys really, but The Rock. And man, I have a sneaky suspicion, and I said this to Josh a couple weeks back. He called me crazy.
It would have made more sense if Big Show was involved because, like,
Paul White,
in the middle of the Monday Night Wars
for sure. You could have done it.
They didn't talk to Jericho.
Chris Jericho. You could have got them in it. Now
they should. There's a couple of holes. Like, there's some people they didn't talk to but I get it because they're not under WWE.
That's right, and I think this was WWE had a lot to do with this, which is funny because it's like. People go, oh, why didn't and I do believe, Hogan should have been on that because we would want to hear his side of it. Of course, Eric Bischoff, I'm sure, speaks for Hogan on a lot of things. But I don't obviously the Bash on the Beach episode they did about a couple months back. Probably Hogan said, F them, I'm done. Same a lot. Jim Ross did the same thing. He's done with them. However, I said my sneaky suspicion is The Rock's involvement is that I believe we might see a WCW. I don't know if it's a full-fledged, not saying full-fledged. But I believe there might be a WCW type of revival here, a brand within TKO. I have a sneaking suspicion. And I remember telling Josh, and Josh, kind of like you, I don't know, and of course, people go, oh, they can't do it because, they started talking about, it's funny, they started talking about it this week. And I'll tell you why. That might be in your news column is that, people are like, oh, you need the old heads and Hogan and, Hogan's old and nobody wants Macho's dead. And it's like, no, you don't need the old heads. No. You don't. You can make this a completely different thing. But let me tell you why, my wife doesn't like this, but I'm usually right. And I'm not saying I'm right yet. Not right yet. But 2 names have just come up to that WWE has trademarked recently.
Yeah, apparently, like one of them I saw was Super Brawl, which is
WCW pay-per-view. Which is WCW pay-per-view, Super Brawl. And today, Wrestle Features at Wrestle Features on Twitter, WWE has filed a trademark for New Blood Rising. New Blood Rising was a WCW pay-per-view in 2000.
Yeah, a very infamous one.
It's a very infamous one, but obviously they covered New Blood. So that's 2 WCW pay-per-views now. Could they be putting that in NXT where they kind of did the Great American Bash? Maybe. But
maybe.
I have a
they've been doing that.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion we might see some sort of WCW revival. WWE owns the rights. The Rock, I think The Rock, seeing him on that show, I started getting an itching feeling about it. I'm telling you, brother, look out for it. And when you and I will obviously talk about it, if it breaks down, obviously you'll be popping in No Holds Barred. I might be on here. Yeah. Just remember I said that if it goes down.
Well, this is recorded, so if it does happen, we can go back to this.
That's right.
Bobby was right.
Damn right. I'll show it to my wife. I'm right again. You could love it, you could hate it, you could like it, you could not like it. The truth is, I'm usually right, but we'll see. I'm sorry, but I hijacked the part.
No, that's
on to SmackDown.
Yeah, no, that's a fine tangent. It's like I was thinking about talking about that real quick, so that just said it. No problem. All right, so let's go rewind back to last week's episode of SmackDown real quick. So there was only 3 matches on this show, but it was mostly angles. The only 3 matches were all Money in the Bank qualifying matches. Tiffany Stratton beat Candice LeRae and Jade Cargill to get into the women's match. LA Knight beat Logan Paul and Santos Escobar to get on the men's side. And then the final, second to last women's entry was Naomi beating Blair Davenport and Indy Hartwell. Of course, the big angle during the whole show was with the Bloodline. Cody, Randy, Orton, KO came to pick a fight, to quote Braveheart, and they got into a big brawl with the Bloodline. And Nick Aldis had to end up having the NYPD escort them out of Madison Square Garden, out of the building. And then, of course, we got the big angle at the end with the whole Bloodline acknowledgement, where Solo basically finally was like, I'm now the new tribal chief. Acknowledge me. Mm-hmm. The Gorillas and Jacob Fatu all acknowledged him. And when it came time for him to do it, just couldn't do it. said, "You're not my tribal chief."
Love
and as soon as that happened, I was like, "Oh God, no!" And it's like without hesitation, Smo and Spike, they destroyed Paul Heyman. They triple powerbombed him through the announce table. God bless Paul Heyman at his age for taking that kind of a bump to sell this storyline and angle. And he got stretched out in an ambulance to close out the show. And so, so what did you think of what went down here? Let's start with the whole Bloodline saga here. With, whew.
Okay, so with this new Bloodline and as Solo as the kind of the stand-in tribal chief until obviously last Friday night, I wasn't feeling it. The only thing I felt, of course, was Paul Heyman. He's been carrying it. His emotions. Obviously, he's the last piece of the OG Bloodline. Solo kind of came in after that, even though he's a part of it. But Solo, I wasn't happy with the way they kind of did Solo after Cena's match where he kept losing.
He was Mr. Jobber from after he destroyed Cena at Crown Jewel. From that until through WrestleMania, he was the jobber.
To me, it's like that was one of the rare fumbles of the Triple H era.
Oh, absolutely.
So I could not buy into him being some kind of guy that you should fear or be a leader of these monsters that he has behind them. I just was not feeling it. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for this. Now I'm a story-oriented person when it comes to wrestling. I love the story in and outside the ring. The match has to have a story within the match. There has to be a story that leads up to the match. Of course, you have these one-offs and whatever, and that's fine. So I'm okay waiting it out. I'm not something about rushing the story or we just have to finish the story. No, if it doesn't make sense, you don't finish it. That's why Cody Rhodes, it was good for Cody to lose last year because it meant so much more the year later, So I said, even though I wasn't happy with the ways or really feeling it, I'll say that way, feeling this story with the Bloodline, which I think is probably the greatest storyline in WWE history right there with Austin and McMahon. This here, what happened at the end of SmackDown, or what happened with Paul Heyman. Obviously, it was really cool the way they started. It started off fast. The Bloodline comes out. Cody Rhodes comes out with Randy and KO. They start a hot whatever, but the ending for Paul Heyman. You are not my tribal chief. Now I feel it. Now I'm a believer in regards of Solo. Solo looked great. The guys look good. I'm like, holy crap, they did that to a 59-year-old. Again, even the age. We got guys who are.
The announcer Corey Graves and Wade Barrett did a great job of selling how heinous this was that they were doing to Heyman.
I mean, they the thumb, the headbutt, and then the powerbomb, and he looked horrible. And I mean, I read it today, and I absolutely agree. I'm sorry. I usually like to call out or credit those who said it, but somebody said this on Twitter today. I believe it's Twitter. Paul Heyman deserves an Emmy for what he's pulled off with this storyline.
He's been amazing.
I mean, the facial expressions, the tears he put on. He let his beard come out. I don't know how easy it is.
Eyes look bloodshot. Word is that he
I don't know. He didn't sleep. Yeah, he stayed awake or something. That's what it was. That's what they said. For him to do that tells you how committed he is to this story. To me, he has established himself. Like he just got into the Hall of Fame for everything he's done.
That's why he's a GOAT. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. He's a GOAT. He already has, gotten to the Hall of Fame just this year. To me, this alone has established another run in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Because of what he's doing alone. He's carrying this story without Roman Reigns. But got to give credit again. This alone, the way they finished, Solo and the three monsters behind him, they looked great. Yeah. Now they look like they're like, holy crap, dude! They just did that to Roman's guy. So now every show, and after Money in the Bank, after SummerSlam, when it's Cody versus Solo, we're gonna wait for that music to hit. Oh yeah,
you're tell you know what I'm saying. It's gonna be you. You're gonna be on your couch, brother. You're gonna be looking. The pop. Waiting for it. Yeah, and watch the pop
Roman is gonna get. It's gonna be a mega pop when Roman returns because the fans they're chanting "We want Roman" like every SmackDown. Every time the Solo and them are out there, that you can hear the "We Want Roman" chants. He hasn't even officially turned babyface. He's already babyface as far as the fans go. They want him to come back and kick Solo's ass. It's amazing how they've constructed it to build the anticipation for the fans for Roman's return. And really, that's when the real Civil War is going to kick off, when he gets back. Because then, it's like that's when Jimmy's going to get back. And at some point, they're going to convince Jay to side with them to help them. Whoever's the fourth person can be, who knows? But then eventually, I can't wait for the War Games.
I have this other suspicion. Obviously we want the OG bloodline. We want Jimmy and Jay to pair up one more time with their cousin Roman. Obviously, we know the history, the bad blood between them. No pun intended. Josh says he believes Sammy is going to pair up again. Would love to see it. However, we can understand, or I can understand why if there might be, it won't make sense in regards to story wise because of where they are right now in their careers. Jimmy Jay makes sense, right? Or Jimmy and Roman. What if it's not the OG bloodline? What if it's Paul Heyman's guys? What if?
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Some guy hasn't shown up for a while. He's still on the active roster. Triple H has said that he's not. He's in Minnesota chilling out. He's not gone from WWE. What if we hear after Roman, you hear that Brock Lesnar music hit? I'm just saying that's another way this could go. Even though I prefer OG Bloodline.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I had that thought myself not too long ago. I didn't tell Josh this, but I had a thought. I was like, oh wow, what if? Because Punk's on Raw, so that's not going to happen unless they get permission to that'd be kind of wild for Heyman to have his other OG guys come to help Roman. Like Brock would be nuts because him and Brock have had wars against each other. It's been ugly between them. For him to, and the only way I would be okay with it if he makes it clear, he goes, "I'm not here for you, Roman. I'm here for Paul." It's like, this is a favor to Heyman. He's doing it for Heyman, not for Roman. It's like that, because it wouldn't make sense for him to be all buddy with Roman. It's like if what they did to Heyman is the motivation, that will work perfectly. It's like, this whole thing. Want to give a shout out to our friend Chris Gift Taylor. Yes, the ending was fantastic. Fins, give us a Miami Dolphins fan, Bobby.
There you go. Fins out, Chris, man. Appreciate you for tuning in, brother. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he also likes your idea.
Hey, just throwing that out there. I have another suspicion. I mean, obviously the bloodline or the OG bloodline, that would pop. People would go nuts. But can you imagine, like, this Paul Heyman's been trying to battle this with Jimmy Jay, he's riding high on Raw right now. So Sammy is riding high right now with the Intercontinental title. How fast and quick would they be to turn around and say, okay, I'm going to help Jimmy, even though Jimmy screwed me over. I'm going to help Roman, even though I battled Roman. It could happen for sure, one off. But there are so many Paul Heyman guys. Paul Heyman's been beaten down. He's been tortured, mental torture, all this, whatnot. Wouldn't it be such a selling point? And how hot would it be if the crowd, the everything, the pop, when you think it's Roman and Roman's going up, and all of a sudden they go, oh, what are you gonna do? You don't have your family no more. They're all gone. Da, 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 da. And all of a sudden it's not Roman Reigns' family. It's Paul Heyman's family.
Right. And Punk would be easy because they kind of already set that up with where
there you go. CM Punk's already said, what do you
the week before, where he was basically begging Punk to save him from Solo and the new bloodline. It's like,
if we're getting CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam, War Games is Survivor Series, which is right.
If they could blow off that feud before that, so he could be done with the McIntyre stuff, and then he'd be free.
That's what I'm saying. So
in War
again.
Games.
It gives, again, we might see a Solo, no pun intended, Solo versus Roman, beforehand. We may see a little dragging off here and there. Roman might show up at SummerSlam, but not really, whatever. And then you get Paul Heyman. I would love to see, for me, at a SummerSlam, you hear Roman's music hits. This is after Solo loses. which again, I would love a quote unquote swerve here. And if Solo was to beat Cody at SummerSlam, that would shock me because nobody expects Cody to drop it.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, but imagine the pop for that. That's what I love about professional wrestling, when you get that pop that you weren't expecting. So, or something that you weren't expecting. But you hear Roman Reigns music, they're all freaking out, they're all looking, they're ready to go, and all of a sudden it's Paul. Paul comes out, and he's just standing, he's clean shaven now. He looks comfortable as hell. He don't look like he looks like, and he's standing there and he's maybe going like this, and they're going, they're laughing. Look at this guy, bro. Look at him. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, and all you see Solo go get him. And all of a sudden, you see Roman come out from the back, and he's all taped up, and he's going like that. That's where the crowd's gonna go wild.
Oh,
I'm thinking right now. Look, I got that Rock final boss goosebumps. You know what I'm saying? That story's gonna hit, man.
I have no doubt. I will not be surprised if Roman returns at SummerSlam. He's definitely, because if they're gonna do Cody versus Solo for the title at SummerSlam, which is what the rumor is, it would make sense that Roman would show up and make sure that Solo starts to get what he deserves. So I'm all excited for that. As far as like who got into the Money in the Bank, I'm happy that Tiffany's in it. I was kind of hoping Blair Davenport would get in, but it's like I get why they put Naomi in. They needed some more baby faces into the match, and plus her and Ladders, that's a no-brainer for Naomi. LA Knight was interesting, but it definitely adds more fuel to him in the Logan Paul feud, which is that feud is also cooking. So Logan Paul is gonna. We'll get to it when we talk Money Bank, but that men's Money in Bank is going to probably have a lot of interference. It's probably going to get a little crazy because there's a lot of people who have bullseyes on the back of their heads from certain people that are in this match. That it won't be surprised if Logan Paul and other people show up to cause interference. So overall, a really good episode of SmackDown. The Bloodline stuff has definitely been re-energized. It's really starting to cook again, and we don't even have Roman back. It's like so once Roman gets back, it's like, oh man, it's like we're gonna be in high gear. Hey, look who's here. Hey, Josh. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. Hope you're having fun. All right, so let's move over to Raw real quick. So we had Xavier Woods losing to beating Karrion Kross, but then they got to destroy Kofi Kingston after the match. Liv Morgan defeated Zelina Vega to retain the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Zoe Stark beat Dakota Kai and Ivy Now to get the last spot in the Women's Money in the Bank match. Ray beat Dominic in a one-on-one match, and then of course in the main event we had Drew McIntyre qualify for the final men's spot, beating Sheamus and Ilya Dragunov, hitting Sheamus with the Claymore. We had a lot of angle advancement, wide six, another video from Bo Dallas. It was haunting stuff. Definitely teasing up stuff with Chad Gable and Alpha Academy, keeping that going. Interesting stuff going on with the Judgment Day. You know, you can see the cracks are forming. You know, it's like it's only a matter of time before Damian Priest is out of there. And the Liv Morgan stuff. A lot of advancement, a lot of storylines going on here. What's working for you most right now on Raw as far as like the angles and stuff, and who is in the Money in the Bank match here, and some of the other stuff here that happened on Raw?
The stuff that's working for me. Well, I mean, obviously the Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're doing one hell of a job there. It's very intriguing. Very. Pulls at the heartstrings a little bit, in regards of how it's feeling, letting that dark side out. You kind of put in real life, they're allowing the reality to set in on that character. Oh, yeah. I love how at the end, I love the part where, he goes, when he said, I forgot what Bo said, but Uncle Howdy says, "There you are." And then at the end, Bo's by himself. Uncle Howdy kind of disappears, and they're kind of going back and forth with each other, right? They're and all of a sudden, Uncle Howdy disappears, and then it's just Bo Dallas, and he's saying something, and then all of a sudden he goes, Bo disappears, and then Uncle Howdy's there, and he goes, "There you are." And I just love the way it ends. So I'm like very intrigued. how that story is going to continue to go.
Yeah.
I want to know why they're targeting Chad Gable, why he is the focal point.
I think the clue was the line where he's talking about how like he's talking about like sitters who are mistreating their family that need to be punished. That was definitely a clear shot at what Chad Gable because of how he's
interesting.
Been
okay, that's a good point out. Okay,
it's like they're supposed to be his family, and he's treating them like crap. And so and so Bo and the Wyatts are definitely like, no, that's not right. We're gonna make you pay for that. That's not how you treat your family. So I think that's definitely what he's been doing to Otis and them is definitely, I think, the main reason why he's been targeted. So we already see what happens. And of course, the obvious foreshadowing that eventually the Creeds and Ivy Now thing are going to turn heel and form a new Alpha Academy with Chad Gable. He's going to ditch Otis and them for good. That's going to be very interesting. Because that's been rumored for a while, and they definitely have been foreshadowing that pretty well. So they're like, hey, hey, are you okay? They're checking on Chad, his like stuff like that. So that's all very interesting. I like the back and forth with Seth and Damian Priest, especially with Finn Balor getting involved. It's like the babyface turn is just almost there. It's like he's like right on the edge. So what's going to happen? I think Money in the Bank is finally going to be the tipping point, because it's like he's not acting heelish. It's like he gets all upset that Finn is like attacking Seth, and and I love how Finn called him. He goes, "Ever since you won the title, you've changed."
Yeah, and he has, and I love that. I do like that he's kept that title. I like that he went over on Drew. I expected Drew to win. I like that Damian Priest is all. I'm a big fan of Drew McIntyre for sure, but Damian Priest.
Yeah.
I'm happy he has the title. I felt he, kind of like with Swerve Strickland. I felt like Damian Priest was that stepping stone champion.
Yes,
but
with the ring general
yes,
at SummerSlam.
And I think a win over Damian Priest makes him legitimate. I think the way he's carried the belt recently and the story going on right now with the Judgment Day makes him more legitimate as a world champion. I love the way he's carrying himself with Seth Rollins. And I think, again, I don't know what you expect. I think Damian's going to go over on Seth, and I think that's going to make him even more legitimate.
It's
champion.
very possible.
Because
where we go over the Money in the Bank card, but
there's
a lot of different ways that the Seth Damian Priest title match can go.
100%. Again, like obviously,
especially with the steps involved, where if Seth loses, he can't challenge for the title again, and while Priest still has it. But if Priest loses, he's got to leave Judgment Day. So
exactly.
It's like,
so
stakes involved here.
Does he leave the Judgment any day? Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Is it where or obviously we're going a little ahead, but something to that nature, does Finn Balor try to interfere with JD McDonough? Does Damian Priest push him out of the ring? Does something and then he gets caught, obviously, by Seth, loses that belt, and then of course he's out of Judgment Day, and now you set up that Finn versus Damian SummerSlam match. That could be where it's going. So again, to make his title more legitimate, even though he's done it, I don't mind him losing at Money in the Bank if it's supposed to go down. I think beating Seth Rollins is the right way to go, but I could see Seth, and Seth doesn't need to have the title. He could win it and drop it. He could beat, which would make Gunther look more legitimate. So very interesting. But I love that's another story, especially with the Liv and Dom thing going on, and not just Liv and Dom, it's Liv and Judgment Day. She is in on Judgment Day. She got in by Damian, but she's getting in.
The revenge tour is pretty much almost complete at this point. I mean, she's infiltrated Judgment Day at this point. Finn and everybody doesn't seem to have a problem with her. She's slowly winning Dominic over. She's definitely banging Finn Balor behind the scenes when nobody's looking.
That's what I'm saying. So this story is gonna end.
I love how he pocketed the hotel key card, and then Damian called him out on it. Said, "Oh no, nothing happened. I just made sure that nobody is like, yeah, right, Finn. Yeah, it's like we know what you're doing." It's like it's like even before that we were seeing getting on the same car as Liv. So it's like
that's what I love what they're doing. Dom and Liv came out of the same locker room at one point behind the scenes. Then they show in another interview, and they show Finn and Liv getting out of the car at the same time. They know what they're doing. This is going to end with Rhea and Dom. I mean, Rhea and Damian as baby faces, top baby faces on Raw, and on the good side. And of course, they got automatic feuds with Judgment Day.
This new version of Judgment Day together as a heel unit, and you got Liv replacing Rhea. You still got Dom, you still got Finn, JD, and Carlito. They're still a solid heel faction. They're just going to exercise the people who are obviously
that's correct. Who've outgrown them
and to get to the next level. Fans are already behind. They were already cheering Rhea anyway. It's like
there'd be a monster pop.
She was getting babyface treatment. The only time they would boo her was when Dom was with her. It was like hate by association.
Guilty by association. Yeah, that's right.
So once Dom turns on her and sides with Liv, and that's man. Oh, I can't wait for Rhea to come back. I'm loving this stuff between Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn. That was some really good stuff. The confrontation, the back and forth. I like where that's going. Trying to see what else. I'm not sure about this whole Final Testament targeting New Day. It's just not working. To quote the Learning Tree to share, that doesn't work for me, brother. Which I hate he's using that phrase because it makes it sound like Hogan, but
it's exactly what he's trying to do. Yeah, it's exactly what he's trying to do. Hogan never said that on TV, by the way. That's what he says behind
this feud. This feud is not working for me, brother. It's not grabbing me.
I think it's more about, again, we talk about legitimate. It's more about making Karrion Kross look more making him look more badass. I mean, what he did to Kofi on Monday night, that his wife, was patting his arm. Okay, that's it. I think it's just making him look more legitimate because Karrion Kross is great. He needs to be in bigger things. He needs to be in a bigger picture, whether it's Intercontinental, maybe being that foe for not for obviously, well, maybe Braun Breaker, who knows? But Braun Breaker now is doing great with the role he's in. But he could be in that. He could give a top guy a good story and not. And so it's like Solo. You kind of put him in the wrong direction. So now you kind of bring him back. And to me, that's going after some easy target like, which sounds bad, but New Day and Kofi Kingston is easy pickings. Again, it doesn't work, right? Like if it's like a legitimate, like, oh, you're not going to do a 3 PLE trilogy here with these guys because it's just no one gives a damn. But if you can really make him look dominant and squash one of these guys, especially Kofi, a former world champion, it makes Kross look that much better. So I'm with you on it doesn't work, but it makes sense if that's the plan.
Mm-hmm. It also it definitely the signs are pointing toward Damage Control finally breaking up with what's been going on lately. I think that's a good idea, honestly, especially with Asuka out. I mean, the group's been around for a while. It's kind of like they're not really going anywhere. So that's the one thing I was disappointed was that Dakota Kai didn't qualify for Money in the Bank. I was kind of hoping she'd get a spot, get to shine a little bit. But I get why they went with Zoe Stark. It's like they see a lot of her. I like Zoe. I like her in-ring ability. So I think she needs to work on her promo work a little bit more. To really get the fans invested. Because it's kind of like she was doing great when she was like partnered with Trish last year during that feud with Becky. That was all awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, it's kind of like been kind of wandering around. I mean, I didn't mind her teaming with Shayna, but that really hasn't gone anywhere. So, and also they're setting up this thing with Sonya Deville seems like she's trying to form some kind of like new group or something. So I don't know where that's going to lead. But my boy Drew McIntyre keeps killing it, man. With stuff with the bracelet, kissing the bracelet after he qualified for Money in the Bank. Just great stuff. I figured Sheamus would take the pin because Ilya's going to eventually get that big push. So it's like don't want him to take an L like that right now. It's okay for Sheamus to do that. Not surprised McIntyre got in the match because that's going to cause all kinds of other shenanigans to happen. But I thought it was a pretty good Raw overall. So now, have you been following NXT at all?
A little bit here and there, not as much. No.
All right, I'll just go over NXT real quick. It's like a couple. They just had a couple matches here because it was mostly building up for Heat Wave on Sunday. Yeah, it was like we got 2 PLEs this weekend. We got Money in the Bank on Saturday and NXT Heat Wave on Sunday. So WWE's got a lot of wrestling going on this weekend. Let's see, Jada Parker beat Michi Medium in a street fight. The New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate beat Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. Izzy Dame beat one of the newer talents. Oro Mensah picked up a victory for Metaphor against Miles Bourne. Let's see, Winnie Chu, Carly Bright. Let's see, she beat her. That's a bit of feud that's going on. And then Jasmine Nix beat Carmen Petrovic, which is another feud going on. Mostly it was about building toward the Heat Wave. I don't know if you saw it, but Lola Vice cut a hell of a babyface promo to solidify her face turn in this build up to this match with Roxanne Perez, talking about like mother going through health issues, got really emotional. The fans really got invested in her. I was really impressed because I wasn't like, she's been doing good as a heel, so I was kind of like, okay, so all right, so they're doing Roxanne and Lola Vice for the title at Heat Wave. It's like they're both heel, but it's like this fans definitely were getting into her, especially after she beat Shayna in that underground match at Battleground. But like this definitely solidified that, yeah, no, she's gone full face now, and the fans are behind her. And so I was like really impressed. She did a really good job. And of course the main event, Trick's got to defend in a fatal 4-way against Ethan Page, Sean Spears, and Javon Evans. So that's going to be really interesting what that's going to happen there. Really liking seeing the ex-AEW talent getting a new lease on life in NXT. Sean Spears has been doing some good stuff. Ethan Page has been awesome ever since he came in. I'm hoping Ethan Page ends up winning the NXT title at some point. So I'm pulling for him. NXT's definitely got some interesting stuff going on. And the card looks really good for Heat Wave overall. So I'm looking forward to it. It's like I've been enjoying most of what's been going on in NXT. It's definitely, I mean, I missed the black and gold era. That was awesomeness. But Sean's definitely resurrected NXT and made it a fun show to watch again. Not everything's perfect, but there's a lot of good stories and a lot of good talent down there that they're building up to eventually be on the main roster. So there's a lot of people. A lot of people I'm liking down there that I see having some really good potential to be some big stars once they move up to Raw or SmackDown in the future. So, all right, then let's get over to last show the week because it's SmackDown's gonna be back tomorrow. Talk about what happened on AEW Dynamite last night, real quick. So, this was one of the best Dynamites of the year, I thought. This was all overall between the wrestling and the angle advancement, storylines that I'm invested in, that I'm interested in. I mean, just up and down. This show just like was firing on all cylinders. Bryan Danielson beat Pac to advance in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. He's in the finals. He's going to end up facing either Hangman Adam Page or Jay White because Hangman Page came back. He was the wild card in the tournament. He beat Jeff Jarrett and ripped the hearts out of everybody who was rooting for Jeff Jarrett after he cut in an incredibly emotional promo about what Owen Hart and his friendship meant to him, and he wanted to win the Owen to honor his memory. And then it's like as soon as the walk, I was like, I had a bad feeling about this. And then when Hangman came, I was like, yeah, no, he's not winning this match because I think it's very obvious that I think Hangman's going to win the Owen Hart tournament. He's going to beat Jay White. He's going to beat Danielson, and he's going to face Swerve at All In. And reignite that awesome feud from last year because they got unfinished business. But this is going to be different because they've completely flipped roles. Because last year, Swerve was the heel, he was the babyface. Now it's completely flipped. So that'll make things really interesting. Then let's see, Willow Night on the women's side. Willow Nightingale, it surprised me by beating Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander just turned heel, so I thought she'd be getting the rub here. So it was interesting that Willow went over. I was kind of surprised about that. They still had a good match, though. That feud is definitely not over. I wouldn't be surprised if Statlander gets involved and screws her out of winning the tournament because I think it's Mariah May, Tony Storm's protege, who's going to win the tournament. She's facing Hikaru Shida on Rampage tomorrow. and whoever wins that will face Willow in the finals, and whoever wins that will go on to face Tony at All In for the title. And then, of course, Dr. Britt Baker made a return. She cut a great promo talking about her health scare. Jesus, she had like a mini stroke, along with a bunch of other things. Like I was like, wow, very brave of her to talk about all that stuff and like be really honest. It's like, so the fans are really going to be behind her, and the confrontation between her and Mercedes Moné was really good. Lots of good stuff to set up a money match at All In between the two of them for the TBS title. So that's going to be great. And then, of course, the ending angle with Will Ospreay beating Daniel Garcia to retain the international title. MJF was in his corner. He's been kind of supporting him and pushing him, saying how great he is. He tried to get Danny Garcia to cheat to win, gave him his ring to try to beat Will Ospreay. He didn't want to do it that way, and then he lost. And Ospreay consoles him afterwards. MJF's doing the same thing. But then it's the swerve because he kicks him in the nuts and then absolutely destroys poor Daniel Garcia. Leaves him and Danny Magic a bloody mess. Daniel Garcia gets destroyed. He gets stretchered out into the ambulance. MJF goes back to being full mega heel, and the fans completely turn on him because he destroyed one of the more popular baby faces in the promotion right now to do it. This was fantastic stuff. It's like I enjoyed MJF's tweener / babyface run for last year, but with how they're stacked there, the baby faces, especially with Ospreay and Swerve at the top and a couple others, I get why they decided to have MJ go back to being the bastard heel again, and this was a perfect way to do it because Danny Garcia has become very popular. He's gotten really over with the fans, so having MJF stab him in the back and destroy him like that is an easy way for the fans to completely turn on him. And of course, and then he's jaw-jacking with the fans and stuff, throwing garbage at him and stuff like that. It was just fantastic stuff. So what do you think overall was some of the stuff that happened on Dynamite?
So first, following up on what I did to watch some bits and pieces of it. First off, I think MJF is his best as a heel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's exactly where he belongs. I think he's one of the best in the business. Again, with I'm going to butcher his name. There's the other one. I think they're just great. MJ, I'm not an AEW guy. I hardly watch it, but when I do, when I do tune in, it's when I see MJF on there. And the other one is, of course, he's part of the Elite, and that's
Okada.
Yes, Okada. Thank you. I just
bitch.
love him. Yeah, I just love you. I'm so sorry, bitch.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He's he's great. But no, MJF is perfect where he's at. I love he's at his best as villain. I love watching him when he's out of the ring and he's interacting with the fans. That's what you want. It brings you back to that old school wrestling again. I hate he's in AEW because I think he would freaking blow up in WWE, dude. I mean, but good on him to stick it through. AEW still is. It's still big no matter what anybody says.
Yeah.
He's one of the OGs there, so he sticks around and he does his thing. Mercedes Moné, again, I was talking about her. I love the crowd.
Being heel, which is what she's best at.
That's exactly, yeah.
I forgot to mention the fans, the Long Island fans, completely turned on her during that match. They were like, "Fuck Boston," and they
were they in Long Island or were they in Chicago?
Well, they were on Long Island for the pay-per-view, and that's when they.
Okay. Sorry,
they were booing her big time. They were really rooting for Stephanie Vancouver to win that match. It's like they were giving the mega heat to Mercedes at the pay-per-view in Long Island because she's from Boston.
But she's another one who should be a heel. She's a born
and then
heel.
The Chicago fans were doing the same thing. It's like and they were leaning into it because when she showed up, she was all buddy with the Young Bucks, the Elite. So that's more automatic heel heat. And the way her character is acting, she should be a heel anyway. And the fans were chanting "shut the fuck up" at her. So it's like, and with everything that Brett poured her heart out about all the health scare that she had, and why she's been out for the last 10 months. So the fans were already happy to have her back, and so now they're really invested in her, as a babyface with what she's gone through, and so it's perfect. She's back to being the mega heel. Britt's the big face. this is a match that everyone was looking forward to when Mercedes decided to come to AEW, was her versus Britt, and so that's going to be a hell of a match. They did a good job promo wise between the two of them. I thought it was great. I love where she's like, "Get back in the line, bitch," and then she looked back behind Mercedes and goes, "What line?" And I was like, "Ooh!"
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's on now." It's fantastic stuff.
Awesome.
I also think this is a good thing for Daniel Garcia as far as what MJF did to him, because he was already getting really over. I just hope he gets a big win and gets a title soon, because they've really been trying to build him up, and the fans are really invested in him. And it's like, I really like the guy. He's really talented. Also, he's a New York guy. He's from Buffalo, which is only an hour from me, so I consider him a local guy. So I'm rooting for him. So getting destroyed by MJF and then coming back to get his revenge, this is definitely going to help him get even more over with what MJF did to him. And I think that's obviously what the plan is. It'll be interesting to see if this leads to them having a match at All In, or do they wait for him to come back? They have him come back, wait to sell that he's out for a while, have Ospreay step in to go after MJF, and then have him come back. It's like, we'll see. It's like, it could go a couple different ways, but thought it was fantastic. This is the MJF I know and love, so I was really happy that happened. The AEW needed this, especially coming out of the pay-per-view. This is a really great Dynamite to help build toward All In next month. So they're off to the races. Hope they can keep it up. Okay, so all right, let's get to talking about Money in the Bank for WWE. So Money in the Bank is Saturday night in Toronto. It's like, I thought about going there, but man, the ticket prices, no, thank you. It's like, Toronto's not that far of a drive for me for there, but it's just like, nah, bro. It's like, I think I'll just watch it from home. It's like I'll watch it from home for free on Peacock. So, all right, so let's run this down and talk some predictions here. So, all right, let's start with we got the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark. Who are your likely picks to win this? Like, who do you think is most likely to win this?
The women's Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Valkyria. Oh, yeah, man. No, I mean, it has to. Again, I love the swerve. I love a change up. I would love
Chelsea's
to hear.
gonna be really over. She's Canadian.
I was just gonna say, I'd love to hear Chelsea Green. You know, I'd love to hear that. But it has to go Stratton, right? I mean, Stratton.
Yeah, I'm feeling it's tippy time here myself.
Yeah, man. I'm pressed not to say Tiffany Stratton. I think this is her time to do it.
Absolutely.
You know,
I think I've been feeling this for a while. I thought she was the most likely candidate to win Money in the Bank. Because Io won it last year, she's not going to win it again. Zoe and Naomi don't have a chance. Chelsea's like the dark horse, just because it's in Canada and she's going to be really over with that crowd. They're going to be rooting for her, even though she's still a heel. It's like Canada loves their own, no matter if they're heel or babyface.
Always.
But her winning the briefcase not really going to go anywhere, because right now Liv's the champion, and she's going to be holding on to that championship till Rhea comes back, and then Rhea's going to come back to kill her. So Chelsea trying to get Money in the Briefcase, try to take that away. I don't see that working. Whereas Tiffany holding the briefcase is a lot more interesting, because that presents a lot of problems for Bayley on SmackDown, because she's already got to deal with Nia Jax at SummerSlam. If Tiffany has the briefcase, then she's got to have eyes in the back of her head, because first she's got to worry about trying to beat Nia Jax at SummerSlam, and then worry about Tiffany cashing in the contract on her when she least expects it, which I think is very likely.
and giving it to Stratton, you don't have to rush her into any kind of feud right away. She can always tease it. It gives her time to continue to build her character, build herself amongst the fans. And, again, who knows? Is it WrestleMania? Is it before WrestleMania? When you least expect it, that's what she'll cash it in. And plus, I highly doubt she'll rush it through.
That's going to present a lot of problems for Bayley going forward. this new alliance that Nia and Tiffany have formed with each other.
That's the other thing. It could be where Nia destroys Bailey. Bailey pulls it out somehow, some way, but is basically
Tiffany just swoops right in.
Here comes Stratton. Here she comes. Cashes in 1, 2, 3, and now you have Tiffany Stratton. And it could be the fast cash out, But again, I think
I was there at ringside. She helped Tiffany.
She did. Yeah, that's why she was clapping and everything at the end there. So it has to be Stratton. I'd be shocked. Again, I would love a swerve. I think Chelsea Green would be fun. Naomi, the veteran, would be a lot of fun, but it's Stratton. It's Stratton's time.
Tiffany's been a home run ever since she hit the main roster. She's really over. I mean,
her and her boyfriend, fiance or her boyfriend. Who is it?
Her boyfriend is Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah, her and Kaiser. I didn't know if it was fiance or boyfriend, but they are killing it right now, and good for them.
Oh yeah, Kaiser. I forgot to mention that on Raw. Kaiser's singles right now. He's killing it with the promo work and the in-ring work. It sucks that he got injured.
To watch, man.
Hopefully the busted ribs won't keep him out for too long.
Hopefully
only like a few weeks. Hopefully he'll be back by SummerSlam time. We'll see. But it sucks that he got injured because it's like he's been killing it. That with that feud with Sheamus has been awesome. But she's been killing ever since she got called up. Like the reaction she got at Elimination Chamber was insane. Is like I was like, damn, I've been a fan of hers when she was in NXT. She won me over.
My son actually is the one who introduced me to her. My youngest, my son, 7 years old. He was one. He's like, Dad, Tiffany Stratton. We played WWE 2K. And I was like, I was proud of him too. I was like, damn, son, okay, good.
Yeah,
he loved her, and since NXT, so he's been high on her for a while, and
nice,
rightfully so.
Mm-hmm. So I think she's the odds are that Tiffany, it's Tiffany time. It's Tiffany in the bank I think for sure. All right, let's switch over to the men's match because this is where things can get really interesting. This could go a couple different ways. So for the men, we got Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and of course Drew McIntyre. I know some people are hoping Jay wins the briefcase, yeet in the bank. For me, the two people I think are most likely to win are either Chad or Drew. Or the two, I think the top two picks to win this match. I'm glad Carmelo's in this. He's going to get a chance to shine, but I don't think he's going to get the briefcase yet. They're not going to strap the rocket to him that yet. He needs to be built up because it's like he's been losing some matches. I don't see Jay winning it because the bloodline stuff that maybe he may get dragged into that. Who knows? If Chad wins it, it'd be interesting if he decides to try to get the Intercontinental title. Or does he get his revenge on Gunther and does something at SummerSlam if he has the briefcase, or to mess with his obtaining the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, because Bash at Berlin is right after SummerSlam. So it's like if Gunther doesn't win the title at SummerSlam, it would be a no-brainer for him to win it in Berlin. It's in his backyard. So, but I could also see Drew winning the briefcase, and then CM Punk finding a way to make sure he can't cash it in, or if he does cash it in, it fails. So, what do you think? I
am okay. So
because Punk could prevent him from winning the briefcase. He could show up during the match and prevent him from winning the briefcase and make sure.
That's where I am at. So you run down these lists, the names, right? Carmelo Hayes. I think he's going to show up. I think he's going to show off. I think he's going to show why he's exciting and fun. Andrade, I'm a huge fan of his, but I don't feel like he's going to win it.
No,
I don't think he's in that spot, but I think he's going to show up and be.
LA Knight's definitely not winning it. Logan Paul.
LA Knight is his quote unquote story is winning the U.S. title.
Yeah,
and he's going to have a major run with the U.S. Championship.
Yeah.
Chad Gable. Again, Chad Gable. I think you can look at it as a wild card. I think it's highly likely. But do we see the Wyatt Six interfere in this somehow and make sure he does not win it? Yeah, and then Drew McIntyre. Again, it makes all the sense in the world for anybody to say Drew's going to win this. It's Drew freaking McIntyre. But again, CM Punk, I fully believe he's going to interfere and cost Drew the chance to win the Money in the Bank. I think this is Jey Uso's moment. He's main event Jey Uso. I think he does not need to cash. If we're going to say Tiffany is a quick cash in, Jey Uso is not. He can wait. He could play the waiting game. He could be Money in the Bank Jey Uso, Mr. Main Event, and he could cash it in anytime, anywhere, any place.
Yep.
This dude is another stratosphere. He's a future world champion. Yeah, I mean, the crowd loves him. He is like, I don't even know how to say it. I mean, again, he doesn't need the world title, but he definitely is going to get it. I think this is a Jey Uso match through and through. I think this Jey Uso is going to pull this off, man. Even Money in the Bank. I mean, even the Bloodline storyline. Again, he doesn't need to cash it. He can hold it for as long as he wants. Look what Damian Priest did with the purple and black. L Money in the Bank. This guy is gonna Drew Senior Money in the Bank. Jey Uso could hold that for a while. He could compete in the Royal Rumble and still lose it, still have a shot at the world title. He could cash it in at WrestleMania against anybody. He could pull off a Seth Rollins. He could carry that briefcase and still everything else could work out around him. And every time, what if he does interfere with the bloodline, right? What if he's a part of that storyline and he's Mr. Money in the Bank and Cody Rhodes is lying there beaten down or whatever from the bloodline, from the other bloodline, and he's standing there looking at him and he has that Money in the Bank briefcase. There's so many scenarios that could play out with that story. So I get it. Drew, Chad, right? Those are like, okay, I could see that happening. But to me, they're wild cards. Again, I could see two different interferences. I don't see an interference with Jey. I see Jey taking the opportunity from Drew, and CM Punk comes in. Jey comes up, grabs that briefcase. It's just me, Oos, and then he's riding high to whenever he finally gets that world title on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, this match, like I said, could have a lot of shenanigans happening because it's like the White Six are after Chad. Logan Paul early night thing is going on. CM Punk could show up and screw Drew again at any time. So things could get really chaotic in this men's ladders match with who's involved. Logan Paul's definitely going to be showing up to screw LA Knight. That's a guarantee.
Well, that's why I have a feeling, though, there's another suspicion that we might see Drew or Chad not in this match when the match comes forth. We might see Chad Gable abducted or something happens to him where he's taken over by the Wyatt Six. He's out and Logan Paul gets in, and that's where that kind of feud continues over. That's why, I love to see Chad win because I'm a big fan of Chad Gable.
Yeah, me too.
I love his in-ring work. I love his character. I mean, he is a reincarnation of a Kurt Angle. I love everything about him. But I don't have any feeling that he's going to win this match. This is going to be a Jey Uso match.
Okay. That's a pretty good prediction. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of possibilities that come out of this of the men's match here for sure. All right, so let's move to the non-Money in the Bank matches here. So we've got Intercontinental Championship match, Sami Zayn defending against Braun Breaker. This surprised me that they're doing this. Do you think they're going to belt Braun this early?
Yeah, it would not make sense for him to lose to Sami Zayn. He's going to have a monster run with that Intercontinental title. That Intercontinental title is super high right now in WWE. What Gunther was able to do with that belt, what Sami Zayn has continued to do with that championship, it means a lot to, it should be that way. I think the world title should be something where it's like a special event type of thing, where that's why I think Roman Reigns, where people are like, oh, he takes too many time off. No, it should be a special attraction. The world title should mean something. It shouldn't be something that's defended every damn event. Next week we're gonna have another one. No, it should be a special. So they should make the Intercontinental title and the United States title mean something a lot more. And Logan Paul has done that with the U.S. title. But Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn have made that belt more legitimate. And I think Braun Breaker will make that even bigger. And I think he's going to have a monster run. And he could be on that Gunther trail where he is a monster with that Intercontinental title. No one could top him until eventually he decides to. I would hate to see him lose it, but Gunther actually did that and still look good.
Yeah.
But eventually go after that world title.
If it's the right person, it's like
absolutely 100%. But I think Braun Breaker is definitely going over against Sami Zayn.
I think it's very likely. The only other possibility I could see Sami keeping the title is if shenanigans happen, like Sheamus or somebody or other people get involved and completely follow the matchup, and then set up like a rematch at SummerSlam, possibly, where then
or
Braun
the bloodline,
but
the new bloodline, the new bloodline. I don't know what we call it, bloodline 2.0 interferes on behalf of Braun Breaker and costs Sami Zayn the title, and that may opens the door for Sami Zayn to get involved with the bloodline story.
That'd be weird association. I don't know about that, but yeah, it's like feels like Sami hasn't had the title that long, but Braun is just so over right now with the fans. It's like him. You got to put the Intercontinental title on him eventually. Let him have a good run with the belt. And then after that, then he'll be ready for world title time after that. So it's like I will. It's like I love Sami, but I love Braun a lot, and so I will not mind if he.
But see, Sami's not someone who needs the title. He's
exactly.
I feel that that's why it's like he doesn't have it long, but he's gonna put Braun on a whole other pedestal
because he's got when Gunther eventually wins the world title, because it's only matter. It's not if, but when. Gunther is eventually going to be the world champion, whether it's going to be at SummerSlam or Bash at Berlin. He's taking that title very soon. Sami has the perfect built-in feud to go after Gunther for the world title. You looked like you were undefeatable as Intercontinental Champion. You had the belt for 2 years, but I beat you, and I could beat you again. Yeah. It's like he's got the perfect way to entry into going after Gunther when he's got the World Heavyweight Championship. It's like
don't be surprised.
Rematch.
We were talking about this bloodline feud and where it's going. And again, we just talked about the last Money in the Bank match, the men's Money in the Bank, and why I think Jey Uso might be the winner. But again, we just talked about what could cost Chad Gable and Drew McIntyre. Who's to say Bloodline does not get involved in Jey Uso's match? Everybody keeps talking about the OG Bloodline getting back together to face this new Bloodline with Roman. Of course, we tease what could possibly the other route with Brock Lesnar and so forth. But if this might be the PLE that starts to set that emotion, that's why I say do not sleep on this type of. Remember what they did with Cody. Look what they did. What was it? It was Cody, but they're on the same card as these guys, and Solo has a relationship with Jay and Sami where he could interfere and do something to cost them the belt. Which again, it may make it easier for Roman Reigns to say, "Hey, Sami, I know you and I have had our differences. Yeah. Hey, Sami, I know we've had our differences, but ride with me on this." So this is to be such an interesting. This is a great card, by the way. And
it is. I'm really this card is great. Both ladder matches are stacked with great talent. Sami versus Braun is going to be great. And then the 6-man and of course the world title match are both looking great. So let's go to don't know what I assume the world title match is probably going to be the main event. I would assume. So let's talk about the 6-man. Cody, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens taking on Bloodline 2.0 here. Now we don't know which form it's going to take because they got 4 members now, so they can. Solo's definitely going to be in it, so he can choose who he wants. I'm going to assume it's going to be Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu because they're going to want Jacob Fatu to get in there and wreck shop again. So I'm going to assume it's going to be Tama and Jacob teaming with Solo in this match, and with Tama's brother in the corner at ringside to run all kinds of shenanigans. I feel like the Bloodline's going to win this match. The question is, who's going to take the pinfall on the babyface side? Do you dare have Solo pin Cody to set up a SummerSlam match? It's like, which way do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, I think you're on the money with who wins. I think the Bloodline will win this match. You got to make them look strong going into SummerSlam.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Jacob Fatu will be the one out. I think he will be the enforcer. I believe that Solo will pin Cody because will lead to holy crap. Solo has pinned the undisputed champion.
Yep.
Exactly, because if Tonga or if they pin Randy or they pin Kevin, it's not going to mean as much as pinning Cody. And the only one who should pin Cody is Solo Sikoa because that's going to make him look like the legitimate challenger for the world title. At SummerSlam,
and it won't be a clean pin either. So it's like
100%. Jacob Fatu again. It could be Jacob Fatu. It could be Tonga Loa. Anybody standing outside, but they're going to interfere. And Jacob Fatu. I think Jacob Fatu is going to be the enforcer. Obviously, it'd be great to see him in the match because you get him to see him in live action. But I think he'll be on the outside looking in, and I think he'll be the enforcer of that match. And obviously, he's taking over Solo's role in the Bloodline.
The Bloodline need to win this match. The new version of Bloodline need to win this match to establish how dangerous they are, especially with everything that's happened. It's like first they took out Jimmy, now they've ditched Heyman. So without Heyman there, they're going to be completely unpredictable and out of control. So and of course Solo's made it clear he wants to take the title from Cody. It's like so because he's taking Roman's place. He's going to do what he's taking over the Bloodline, and he's going to do Roman and get the title and to upstage Roman. So that's why it'll be perfect for Roman to come back and fuck Solo over if he's facing Cody at SummerSlam. So yeah, totally agree with you. I think the Bloodline's going over here. So then we got the world title match: Damian Priest defending against Seth Rollins. Stipulations involved: Seth loses, he cannot challenge for the title again while Priest still has it. But if Priest loses, he's got to leave Judgment Day. So a lot of things could happen here. So the question is, who's going to face Gunther at SummerSlam? It'd be very interesting. It's like, I don't want to see Priest lose the title just yet, but he's got to go full babyface not long after this. He's going to hold the title because him still being kind of like heelish and tweener is not going to work when Gunther is the mega heel. It's like the fans got to be rooting for somebody there in that title match. Now it's like I could see them give it to Seth, but then Seth's jobbing to Gunther. It's like, I don't know. But then of course, Drew vowing to win Money in the Bank briefcase. If he does win it, he's vowed. He said he's going to cash in during that title match. So if he wins the briefcase, he could be showing up at the worst possible time to try to cash in. And if Punk didn't stop him from winning the briefcase, he's definitely going to prevent the cash in from happening. So there's all kinds of stuff that could happen in this match. What do you think is the most likely scenario here? Because there's a lot of different ways this could go, I think.
100% this go different ways. And I love the Drew McIntyre idea that you threw out there. It could be that way. And but of course, again, you have that CM Punk element. I think everybody would expect that. So I think that's the least likely way they may go. Excuse me. You look at these stipulations. If Priest wins, Rollins cannot challenge Priest for the title anymore. It doesn't mean, we know Rollins is going to be involved in world title matches.
Yeah.
Because that's who he is. Yeah. If Rollins wins, Priest must leave the Judgment Day. I'd hate to see Priest leave the Judgment Day under that stipulation. Needs to be.
They're going to kick him out.
Yeah, it has to be like a turnaround where he finally just blows up and goes after them and fights, and then they attack him. That would be the bigger turn. That would be the bigger thing.
It'd be bigger if it looks like everything's cool, but then Finn stabs in the back and they all.
100%. I'd say, Damien, I would say the best case scenario for this match, and I would think it would be great for everybody. Priest goes over. He makes him look better because he beats Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it's huge for him to beat Seth.
Yeah, 100%. You beat two of the two great,
especially if it's clean, because he didn't beat Drew clean. It's like CM Punk fucked Drew over, and it's like
So if he tops the former world champion Seth Rollins, who he beats him, and then he goes into SummerSlam against Gunther.
Especially if Judgment Day turns on him, he's going to be a big baby face. And
the thing is,
you
go into SummerSlam, it could be Finn Balor who costs him the world title.
Exactly.
Now he did not lose clean to Gunther, but Gunther's still the champion. And then in Judgment Day, now he has a reason to break free. I wouldn't mind this to go anyway because I like Seth Rollins. But I love Damian Priest. I love his reign, and I would love to see him get this win just to make him look a little more legitimate and go into SummerSlam as a world title because he's coming off more and more. At first, it was kind of like, damn, dude, I want to see him the world champion. And when he's a world champion, it's kind of like, oh, man, I wish it's not selling it. But now I'm like, dude, okay, this dude's the world champion. He comes off really good.
Yeah, and it's like I would want him to still hold on the title because, it's like – having a good win over Seth will be good for him going up against Gunther because it's like if Gunther doesn't beat him at SummerSlam, he's going to take it at Bash in Berlin. It's Gunther's going to hold that world championship in the near future. It's just a matter of just when. So you want to have Priest look good as a champion before he gives up the title. So that way you don't feel like that he was just, a placeholder until Gunther took it. It's like,
for sure.
So I'm hoping he wins because I think it would be a bad move for Seth to win it, and then because then he's gonna just job it right to Gunther. He's not gonna hold it for very long. So that would be a disservice to Priest as well. So so I think Drew. Hopefully it's a clean win. Or if Drew wins the briefcase and tries to cash it and Punk stops it, he still is able to beat Seth clean to win the match, despite any kind of shenanigans that could happen if Drew wins the briefcase, which is a death. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this card. This is going to be quite the show, I think. Looking forward to seeing who wins, and then we're on the road to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
man. I'm looking forward to it. I think this is a great card. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to talk about it. I'll be live after the show.
yes.
I'll be live, no holds barred. Me and Josh Kimmel will do a post PLE reaction show.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, please, Justin, tune in and
I will try to make sure to tune in.
To get your 2 cents in there. Of course, you could tell me I told you so, Bobby, and we could have our little back and forth. We'll have fun with that.
Right.
And this is what's great about WWE right now.
And if any of your predictions come true, I'll say Bobby called it.
That's right. But this is what's great about WWE right now, and you highlighted it just by what you were throwing out there. Any of these matches could go any way. There's so many. Maybe the Bloodline match could be.
I think it's the most
like the one we all kind of like. Okay, this has to be Bloodline, right? But you look at these other ones, and you're going, "Damn, who could do this?" Well, this could happen. Well, this guy can interfere. Well,
and that's
what's great about what they're doing here. So just looking forward to it, man. Sorry for the small plug. Throw that out there that we will be live post Money in the Bank Saturday.
No, I was going to ask you to do that at the end of the show, but it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. I mean, it's like as far as Heat Wave goes, I'll just give my quick thoughts on Heat Wave before we wrap things up here. So we've got a couple. It's all title matches for Heat Wave, which is kind of nice. Let's see here. Let me bring up the full card here. Okay, so we've got. Let's see. Well, we got a pre-show match, and Carmen Fletcher, Rick Arnett Grace taking on JCJ, Jason X. That's not that important. So then we got the NXT Tag Team titles. Axiom and Nathan Frazier defending against Chase U. I'm thinking Chase U is going to win that because they've been teasing Axiom and Nathan Frazier splitting up recently, and so it's bound to happen eventually. I wouldn't mind Chase U winning the titles again one more time. Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruka for the NXT Women's North American title. That's going to be a hell of a match. Those two are both really talented up-and-comers. Very interested to see what's going to happen there. I think Kalani's going to hold on to the title. I think Sol Ruka is eventually probably going to maybe be NXT Women's Champion at some point. We'll see. But, of course, there's the Julia factor. It's like when she might show up. She's been rumored that she might show up at Heat Wave. So we shall see. But that should be a fun match. Obafemi versus Wes Lee for the North American title. That's going to be a hell of a match. Obafemi is really one way over. This guy, he looks like he feels like the next Braun Breaker. Like that, he's like a wrecking machine, and he's getting really over with the fans. Wesley's really talented. He was a fantastic North American champion last year before he got injured. And this one, of course, has a stipulation to it where if West loses, he cannot challenge for the North American title again while Femi has it. I think Femi's going to hold on to it. Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice for the NXT Women's Championship. It's going to be a good match, but Roxanne is not losing the title just yet. And then the one I'm not sure about is the NXT Championship match, the Fatal 4-Way. Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Ethan Page, and Sean Spears. With the Fatal 4-Way, it's like Trick could lose this match without getting pinned and lose the title. So it's like, I would think he would win it, but I wouldn't count out like Ethan Page, like pinning one of the other people in the match to basically like steal the title from him. So we shall see. But that should be a fun show as well. I'm gonna be been watching that with a friend of mine on Saturday night. He's been getting back in NXT, so we're gonna watch that together. So it's gonna be a fun weekend of wrestling between Money in the Bank and
100%.
Well, I think that about wraps it up. It's like we're just getting about the time there. Thank you so much, Bobby, for being here and joining me here, especially on a holiday to talk wrestling, filling in for Josh. We both really appreciate it. So thanks a lot. I'm glad you could be here, and thanks for sharing your thoughts. So go ahead, tell people where they can find you and plug your stuff.
Yeah, man. No, Finstock Sports Network on YouTube. You can find me at Bobby Finstock on Twitter. Wrestling related. Again, you see me on Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time for No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast with Josh Kimmel. We just did a whole thing on Who Killed WCW. This week we're doing the post PLE show, and that might be a little later. I think it's like 10:30. I think we're going to do that. Just because that's when PLE will end. Then the weekend after, we will be doing a what if episode of what if WCW had survived, if Eric Bischoff had purchased WCW, and we had that Las Vegas The Big Bang show, which is a lot harder than I would anticipate, because you got to figure out whose contract was actually going through, and then you got to try to book the card.
You're gonna have to do some research on that one, I think.
Yeah, man, because ECW was closed at that time, and they had not gone. Most of them hadn't gone to WWE yet. Yeah. So you would figure that some of them may have jumped to WWE. Obviously, Hogan, Nash, Steiner. I think Steiner, who was the world champion, because if that final WWE or that WCW Nitro, he lost it to Booker T, but that Nitro never would have happened if Eric Bischoff had continued. So very interesting. And so,
yeah,
even for you, Justin, now that I gave you the giveaway, maybe you may want to pop in the comments there, or maybe even come in and throw it out there. Go, hey, man.
I'll see if I can make that, because I definitely want to hear what that sounds.
Yeah.
Very
so very intriguing show. We're going to have a lot of fun on those shows. So you catch me for wrestling on Saturday nights, usually 8 p.m. Eastern. For Chris Taylor and our Dolphin fans, whoever might be tuning in, you catch me on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern on Finstock Sports. We're talking Miami Dolphins. And, of course, all sports. Sunday mornings now, I do East 10th Street Boys, which is one of my best friend, Alex, talking growing up, everything Miami and Hialeah, talking Miami sports, but also talking about life. Like Justin, like, what's your favorite smell that's weird? What is your favorite weird smell? Top 3. I'm going to give you a rant. It's one of those East 10th Street Boy questions. So, like, for me, I would tell you, like, of course, you got the permanent marker. You have gasoline, right? Those are weird smells, but I enjoy those smells. For the other one would be the smell of the AC unit. When the air turns on, I don't know why, but I just love that smell to come in. So, what are your top 3 weird smells, man?
The AC would be one of them, actually.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, you see.
Chlorine in a pool.
Ooh, okay, interesting. All right, yeah. You can say, I would say, see, that was a basketball gym.
Burnt marshmallows when you make a s'more.
Burnt marshmallows. There you go. Another one would be like the basketball gym, which is kind of bad because it's like, oh, you're smelling sweaty.
Yeah, no,
balls.
gym sock. No.
Yeah, but it's like I remember when I was coaching my son's basketball team, and I went in the gym to do coaching, and I'm like, man, this brings me back to my teenage years when I used to play, and it's like, damn, and then you're like, oh man, wait, why am I being nostalgic about this sweaty balls? I don't want to care. But you see, that's what's great about East 10th Street Boys. You don't have to be from Hialeah. You don't have to be about Miami, but at the same time, we talk about that, but we talk about life growing up, in which, of course, even in upstate New York, maybe for you, Justin, we all had that same type of childhood. We did things that probably we wouldn't let our kids do or whatever. And we talk about that stuff. So even for you, Justin, I'd invite you Sunday morning to, when you're just sitting bored, you're drinking coffee, come join us, watch the show. It's a lot of people say it's their favorite show on my network, and I have a lot of great stuff on there with a lot of great content creators, and that's just one of the stuff there. So yeah, just tune in to Finstock Sports Network, hop on over, hit that like and subscribe button, and sit back and enjoy the content.
Awesome. Yep, it is for us. It's like we're here, Ruckus Wrestling. Got the Patreon down there, patreon.com/ruckusev, to support what we do here. We got a lot of cool shows here that, all my friends here do a lot of hard work here. Follow us on the socials over that way. we're here usually every Thursday. Appreciate everyone's support. We had a lot of people watching the show tonight. I really appreciate that. Thanks to Chris Gift Taylor for hopping into the chat, and also Josh for saying hello. So thank you all for watching. Thanks again, Bobby, for joining us. It's a hell of a time to be a wrestling fan. It's like it's just so much really good stuff to watch, and it's fun to talk about it. So looking forward to a great weekend of wrestling. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.